Hello, hello. It is Sarah Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here. This is the new moon in Aquarius. This is going on February 9th, 2024. And I kind of want to start this video with what may sound like a cheesy ending to a family sitcom, which is if there were ever a time to be the most unique, authentic self that you can be, unapologetically, without needing to justify or excuse or seek permission or approval or anything outside of yourself, now is the time to do it. This is a pretty loaded Aquarius season. I wrote down as many transits as I could, and I'm sure I missed something somewhere along the way. So we started out this Aquarius season with the Sun and Pluto. We will end this Aquarius season with the Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and Pluto, all in Aquarius. So what we want to think about with the Sun is, first of all, detriment, right? This is the place that the Sun doesn't like to be. But the Sun is your heart center. It's your heart space. That's why Leo opposes Aquarius, is because Leo is the home of the Sun. And it is about, being courageous enough to be yourself unapologetically. I couldn't say that enough this particular Aquarius season. Hang on one sec. Just want to make sure. Okay. I just want to make sure something was set right on my laptop. Sorry about that. But this is really like, you don't need permission from anyone to be authentic. And the more authentic yourself you can be, the sexier you are, the more free you are, all of those things. And, we all need to be quote unquote governed, but do we need to be restricted? And so the dark energy of Aquarius, the light energy of Aquarius is authenticity. It's humans supporting humans and all of those things. The dark energy of Aquarius is sheeple. It's being a follower. It's doing whatever the quote unquote authorities tell you to do. Those sorts of things. And so you do you. I'm not here to judge or throw shade or anything. If you've been following me for a while, or hell, if you've been friends with me for a while, I don't follow a lot of what I'm told to do. And that's gotten me in trouble, multiple times in my life. And so, but that's okay. It is where it is. I am where I am. And honestly, I'm about to be 45 later this month, and I'm pretty satisfied at where I am. But anyway, so what I want to say about this Aquarius new moon, particularly this video, is when you're listening to the sun and rising sign forecasts, you want to think about not only this being about the Aquarius new moon, but you want to think about what this means for the next 20 years, because Pluto will be here for 20 years till 2044-ish, something like that. And we do have a little skip back to Capricorn from September to November this year. And there probably will be some Pluto and Pisces back to Aquarius in 2043 and 44. But for the most part, for the next 20 years, wherever Aquarius is in your natal birth chart is where you want to be attentive to transformative energy. And anything that goes through there, whether it's the sun, the moon, any of the personal planets, Saturn, what else is going to go through there? Jupiter. I don't think Uranus will get that far, because Uranus is an 80-year orbit and he's only in Taurus. And Neptune won't get that far, but pretty much every other planet's going to make a trip through Aquarius while Pluto is in Aquarius. And so this particular Aquarius season is sort of like Mercury, Mars, and Venus walking through this door, and Pluto's there at the threshold to provide its guidance, provide its wisdom, to dig deep at you and really have you see where you can make significant change over time. So as you're watching these Aquarius sun and rising signs, I really want you to think about this as not only the Aquarius new moon. I mean, this is a hell of an opportunity, right? We have a new moon, set the intentions, all of the things, and think about what this can look like for you over the next 20 years. Now, I also want to point out that my sun and rising signs are based on whole sign, which is maybe not how an astrologer would read your chart. They may use a different type of house calculation, which means that, and I say this because this is my situation where currently Pluto is in Aquarius in my third house, but this new moon at 20 degrees Aquarius is actually in my fourth house. So Aquarius goes over 2 houses in my natal chart. And so you kind of want to think about, like, see where it's showing up, right? Like, see how what you're feeling. This is why it's so important to feel what our bodies tell us, right? Like right now, you probably see me doing a lot of written posts. Well, because Pluto's in my third house. It's been in my third house for a hot minute. And so writing, writing a second book, all of these things. I've already written 1 book unpublished, and I'm writing my second book, and doing a lot of written posts, and I'm feeling good about journaling and all of those things. But there's also things that are affecting my, my home life. Obviously, I've been a nomad, my relationship with my family, and whatnot, is where I'm seeing a lot of activity as well. So I just want you to be aware of that. You may need to go back a sign or forward a sign. So for example, I listen to Scorpio rising, but sometimes I listen to Sagittarius rising because Sagittarius rising is in the 3rd house, or Sagittarius rising Aquarius is in the 3rd house. So I hope that makes sense. If you've had a reading with me, just text me and ask me where shit is. If you have not had a reading, I highly recommend it. It doesn't have to be with me, although I'm fun, I think. But pick another astrologer that aligns with you, that can support you in knowing where these things are. So, okay, just wanted to get that out of the way. I might repeat that when we get to the sun and rising signs. I do have the sacral chakra oracle deck. This just felt aligned. There's the back of the cards. This just felt aligned, especially as we're finishing up Mars and Capricorn, and creativity, and people are really driven, and whatnot. And so it felt really aligned to use the sacral chakra oracle for this new moon. So anyway, let's do some slides, and then we'll talk about sun and rising signs. I will say, if there, if there ever were a time for you to be authentic, yes. If there ever were a time for you to go with the flow and be flexible and roll with the freaking punches, this is going to be that month as well, because Aquarius squares Taurus, which is where Uranus is camping out. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So yeah, it's gonna be a ride. Okay. There we go. I noticed, there we go. I'm hoping that, I noticed in my last video that my lead slide was blank, and I think it's just Zoom or it's Keynote, who knows? Anywho, did we get, and now it doesn't want to load. Come on, do magical things. Oh, there we go. Now it's going. Okay. So of course, Aquarius new moon, February 9th, 2024, and we'll talk about when it peaks and all of those things. I use like a gradient colorway where it starts with like a deep dark blue, but then it comes up to a like frozen purple. ish color, like a light lavender. So I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know. Sometimes I just like to have fun with colors and these things. Okay, a lot of the same stuff from the previous new moon, acknowledging that you have wounds, but that you are who you are regardless of your wounds and that you can transmute. I feel like that should be the word of the beginning of 2024 is transmute or transmutation. And really using your wounds to be creative, using your wounds to, catapult you into who you are. And, we're all kind of walking through a paradigm. It seems like the wrong word. We're all walking through a vortex or like, okay, in the spirit of Star Trek, do y'all remember the episode Time's Arrow? Where they Data got trapped back in San Francisco, like 19th century San Francisco, and they met what's his name, Samuel Clemens, who would eventually become Mark Twain. But they had to like go into this like time, like temporal shift place on a planet. I don't remember what the planet was, but they kind of had to like step through the doorway. I feel like I feel you followed me here. Okay. If not, you need to go watch Time Zero. It's one of my favorite episodes. But I feel like that's kind of where we are, is like we're walking through this like time or temporal shift, right? And the timelines are merging, like that's no secret. Solar flares are happening, solar energy is changing things. That's no secret. Like these are known things. But like my point is that like you don't have to take all the shit with you, and you can walk through the threshold and allow the transformation, right? Like Data had to fit in 19th Data, an android of all things had to fit in 19th century San Francisco, right? Like nobody knew about like any kind of technology and whatnot, and he kind of had to like make it work, right? And also hide himself. Luckily Guinan was there and all of the things. Anyway, great episode, highly recommend watching. But what a wacky way to illustrate what we're actually walking through. But I was trying to think of an example where we're all kind of like walking through you could also think of the episode Remember Me, where Dr. Crusher's stuck in the warp bubble. And she has to find her way out of it. Maybe we've been stuck in a bubble this whole time and we have to find our way out of it. Hint, hint, go to engineering, right? Like, okay, it's totally Aquarius season. It's February and I am definitely in a Star Trek sci-fi mood. Okay, self-discovery, obviously, this is going to continue throughout 2024. The more you can know yourself and accept yourself on a whole new level, right? If you saw my post in the community section on my YouTube, but also I posted it on my socials, was, I know I have no tact sometimes, and sometimes I just need to say the damn thing that nobody else is willing to say. And it's something that I work on, but it's also something that like I've learned to accept about myself. And the people who are around me actually joke with me when I do it because they know I do it. And they just kind of like fluff it off, like whatever, Sarah's just being Sarah, right? But sometimes I say a piercing thing. And it's just how I am. Okay, confusion, caught between two worlds. Yeah, just like I said, right? Like think about back to that Time's Arrow episode, right? They're coming from, what was it, 24th, 25th century, enterprise to 19th century San Francisco. So there was also an episode of Voyager. Oh, it was Future's End in Voyager. You could think about that one too, where they went back to the late 20th century Los Angeles from Voyager. That's another example. You can tell I love time travel episodes. They are legit my favorite. Anything that fucks with time parallels and time fuckery is my jam. Okay, rapid disruptive change. We've talked about this before. Again, Uranus is involved. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So no doubt, and especially this new moon is going to be squaring Uranus. So, yep, shit's weird. Okay, sensory overload. Let me read this. Sensory overstimulation. Look into the clairs for more information about sensory hyper awareness. I've been talking about this a lot with the moon astrology tarot videos, and it kind of came up because somebody had messaged me about like feeling like they were like sensory overloaded, and I had just been thinking about like how many of us smell things that, you know, like over smell things or are sensitive to chemical smells. I'm certainly someone who's sensitive to chemical smells. I don't like chemical perfumes, chemical cleaners, chemical air fresheners. Like that shit just grosses me out. But that's something that we could say is in the conditioning and the programming, that they have created chemical smells where there could be natural smells to prevent us from having the clair sense. I can't remember, what is it? I don't remember what the clair is for clear smelling, but same with like clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience. Some of us hear things other people don't hear, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's like some sensory hyper awareness. You are aware of things that others are not. And so definitely something that I feel like, especially as Saturn moves through Pisces, that we're going to see people's clairs coming online, and they are mistaken for being on the spectrum or having, you know, who knows? I don't know. I need to be careful. I'm on YouTube. But anyway, so let's see. Accidents, potential Uranus is involved. So be extra cautious. And you know, just extra aware of your surroundings, extra aware of your joints. Aquarius does rule the joints, as in the ankles and the wrists and things like that. And you know, as many of us maybe don't work out as much as we should and lift weights as much as we should. Speaking to myself right now. The potential for accidents, for falls, things like that is a little more likely with Uranus involved so heavily, and therefore accident proneness could be a large potential here, especially as we have Mercury will square Uranus, the new moon's going to square Uranus, Venus is going to square Uranus, Mars squares Uranus, but I don't think it's until March. So maybe that's a good thing. Of course, seek professional help where you need it. Please don't allow yourself to get to, you know, a very dark space. There is a lot going on that's very confusing, that is very what's really true about anything, sorts of things. So certainly seek professional help where you need it. Don't allow yourself to get all deluded in, you know, when you're going through a deconditioning or deprogramming process such that we are, where we don't really know what's true or not true about anything, it can get very overwhelming. And so just please take care of yourself, take care of those around you. Of course, see my video for practical applications or practical tools for 2024. That's available here on my YouTube. I'll try and remember to link it below, but I've noticed I've gotten really bad at remembering to link things below, so I apologize. Okay. Transits. Once again, I tried to be pretty thorough here. I know I missed a bunch, but we'll look at the chart here in a second. We'll go further into some of the stuff. February 14th is Mars conjunct Pluto. This is power struggles. I don't see this being a happy Valentine's Day for a lot of people. I don't understand why Valentine's Day, a day about love, is in the most emotionally detached air sign in the zodiac, but hey, I didn't create the Gregorian calendar. And then I also mentioned here about the Chiron North Node conjunction. While it is not exact until the 19th of February, it's building. They're within, I think, a degree on the 14th or around thereabouts. So it's going to be building. Chiron's going to be conjunct the North Node in Aries. Mars rules Aries. So I felt like this was important to bring up because wounds, independence, relationships, power struggles. This could be a very dicey stretch of time between roughly February 13th through the 18th, 19th. Could be a very rough stretch of time. And then I did put this on here, the 16th through the 18th, Aquarius has Pluto, Venus, Mars, Mercury, and the sun. And so you've got a lot of concentrated energy in Aquarius. Expect the unexpected. This is a Uranus ruled sign. Uranus is all about disruption. It's revolution. It is freedom. Breakups are potentially possible, or at the very least, relationship renegotiations, right? Or even renegotiations with finances. And I'm not oblivious. I know people are being laid off, job loss is happening, that sort of thing is happening. Communication, Mercury is involved, how you communicate. Mercury is technically exalted in Aquarius, but I have heard schools of thought where Mercury is not exalted or at fall in any sign. But we'll say for this video, Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Aquarius is about intellect. Mercury is about mind and mental state and communication and having conversations and blah, blah, blah. So maybe that's why I'm so talkative. Well, Mercury is, as of this recording, Mercury is not in Aquarius. Okay, the 17th, Venus enters Aquarius and conjuncts Pluto. And so again, relationship renegotiations, relationship breakups, endings. Again, this could be anything. This does not have to be romance. This could be friendships. This could be you saying the thing or, you know, whatever, to somebody who you've been needing to say the thing to for a long time. Also finances are a factor when we have Venus involved. February 22nd, Venus conjunct Mars. This is just away from Pluto, so it's a wide conjunction to Pluto. So you know, we have the masculine and the feminine of the zodiac conjunct in Aquarius. So some fun things could happen right around there. Okay, Mercury squares Jupiter on the 10th of February, and then it squares Uranus on the 16th. So in the 16th to 18th window, we have Mercury square Uranus. So fun times. The 16th to the 18th, I don't know. Venus squares Jupiter on the 24th of February. And then Mars squares Jupiter on the 26th. So then that's right around the next full moon, which will be in Virgo. What else? On February 28th, we have the Mercury, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. The 23rd, Mercury enters Pisces. On the 28th, then we have the Mercury Cazimi. So Mercury enters the heart of the sun, and then the sun will Cazimi with Saturn, Sun-Saturn day, but we also basically within the same degree of Pisces, which is 9 degrees Pisces, the sun, Mercury, and Saturn are going to conjunct. I don't know what to think about this. Saturn and Pisces. Well, okay, let's talk about Pisces. So Pisces rules media, illusions, spirituality, duality, hospitals, etc. Okay. Mercury, communication, mental state, mindset. Mercury gets its downloads from the sun. It gets, when it Cazimis the sun, this is the Cazimi for from the last Mercury retrograde, which we ended on January 1st of this year. And so this is Mercury now Cazimi the sun, you know, moving direct, and then Saturn meeting the sun. So this could be restricted information, censorship. This could be medical things coming up, maybe even some truths or some things that haven't been spoken about medical things. This could potentially be a healthcare situation. I'm not going to elaborate on a lot of this stuff. Again, I'm on YouTube. And so I'm pretty careful about what I say because I don't like getting censored. I think y'all know what I'm trying to say. I have heard that 2024 could have some similar flavors to 2020. So if you are, whichever school of thought you are in about the events of 2020, this may be your opportunity to choose a different way, if that makes sense. Again, I don't follow rules, so I don't know anybody else's experience. I only know my own. There you go. Okay. But I also know a lot of people went through a lot. And I also just read something from another astrologer who said it was awfully interesting to see in 20. So I thought 2020 people were going to have this drastic disruption and everybody was going to get excited about things changing and normal not being normal anymore. And I was like, dope, fine. It's finally freaking happening. I've been waiting for like more than a decade for people to have their lives disrupted and actually like want to make changes. And nobody wanted to make changes. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why? And this could be repeated here. Not to the same degree, I don't think, but the reality is we're heading to the middle of the 2020s decade, which is going to be the apex of a lot of energy, particularly with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. They conjunct in early 2026. And as we move through them getting closer and closer together, we're gonna see some crazy shit. And in a good way, right? In a good way. In my opinion, in a good way, right? But I'm all for change and things aren't working the way that they're going, and humanity, like things are just not sustainable where things are. So I'm all for change because I feel like there can be a better way for humans to live and a more, I don't know if it's going to be a utopia, rainbow poop and unicorns, but I think it could be a little bit better than it currently is. And so anyway, all of that to say, this Mercury, Sun, Cazimi with Saturn, I don't know, but I can tell you what the themes could be around health issues, health care issues, communication, media, things like that. So there could be some information revealed about certain things. So I don't know, take that for what you want. I didn't write on here, I forgot to write on here, but also February 10th is the Chinese New Year, and we're going from the year of the rabbit to the year of the dragon. And the dragon, the reason that the dragon lost the race was because the dragon was helping other people. And I thought that that was so appropriate with Pluto and Aquarius, because Aquarius is about humans helping humans. And so I think it's really interesting that the first majority of this year that we'll have Pluto and Aquarius is the year of the dragon. So you can look it up online, the Chinese New Year, year of the dragon, or the year of the wood dragon specifically. And see what that's all about. But I forgot to write that here. Okay, anyway, let's move on. Okay. Let's look at this chart. So this new moon's happening at 20 degrees Aquarius. I highlighted Uranus in red because it's at 19, which means that as the sun and the moon are close to their conjunction, they will square off with Uranus. However, this new moon is within a degree square Uranus. I also highlighted Saturn and Jupiter here because they are in a long-term conversation that started a couple of weeks ago, and it's going to go another couple of weeks. It's a minor aspect, but it is a longer aspect. And so it is something to kind of just be aware of and be attentive to. I'm worth mentioning that a lot of these planets, as they're moving through, because they're all so close in the zodiac, they're having minor conversations, but they're kind of like long-term conversations, particularly this Saturn with Jupiter conversation. And so it's just something to be aware of, that, we could be getting some messages, some downloads. I do feel like this Aquarius season is very intuitive, very, massive amounts of downloads. You're really getting messages from your higher self, from your spirit team as to, what direction to go and all of those things. But obviously this new moon, be careful, accidents could be happening. This is squaring Uranus. It also could be very much a shocking turn or twist of events could happen, maybe not, maybe in your personal life, maybe in, you know, global events, who knows? But, you know, we obviously have a lot going on in the United States, and globally and whatnot. And so, yeah, I should also mention too, this Saturn Jupiter situation, we track that because, Saturn Jupiter conjunct, I'm gonna mess this up, but I want to say it was at 0 degrees Aquarius. And I might be wrong. So I'm sorry. But anyway, as Jupiter now moves faster than, Saturn, of course, they are in a sextile here, but eventually they will be in a trine or a square, and then in a trine and all of that. So as Jupiter continues to move faster through the zodiac. And so anyway, but just, it's a minor conversation. So it's kind of one of those, like when we talk about some of these smaller, minor aspecting transits with outer planets, it's kind of like things that are going on in the background that we're working through, but it's not present in our day-to-day, as in Mercury, Mars, and Venus type conversations are. Okay. So anyway, that's the chart. Squares Uranus, could be some interesting twists and turns as this new moon peaks. So there's that. Okay, lunation cycle. Of course, on the 9th, we have the new moon. On the 16th, we have the first quarter square moon in Taurus. I did not see what degree that was at. And then 24th, we have the full moon in Virgo. 3-3, the third quarter square moon in Sag. I thought that was interesting. If you're a numbers person, March 3rd, third quarter square. 3-6, we have the balsamic moon. March 6th, we have the balsamic darkening moon in Aquarius. That could be interesting. And then the Pisces new moon on the 10th of March. On the 16th, the first quarter square moon in Gemini. And then, oh my goodness, we're here already. March 25th is the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. So this is not the biggest eclipse. The bigger eclipse is April 8th. But the fact that we are almost there, yikes. So we're almost to eclipse season already. We're like a month away. Well, I guess a little over a month. So that's lunations we're dealing with. For the full moon, Virgo's analytical, it's digestive system, it's body, it's, you know, grounding into day-to-day life. Virgo is the 6th sign of the zodiac. We talk about the 6th house a lot because that is health related things. And so, and that happens on the 24th, right before that, Mercury, Sun, Saturn, Cazimi conjunction happening on the 28th. So that last week, February, could be really, really interesting. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of my channel. All of your comments mean a lot, and all of the things. I really appreciate you. Of course, if you want to work with me or join the Awakening Spirit Collective, you know, those links are below, all of that. And so thank you. I just really appreciate you guys so much. Let me hold on. Okay. There we go. Okay. I just really appreciate you guys. You know, you could be listening to any astrologer talk about anything. And, you know, I think there's a lot of astrologers who know way more of the history astrologically than I do. But I just really appreciate you. And I know a lot of you guys are my friends, and I appreciate you and love you guys for that. So let's get into the sun and rising signs. Like I said at the beginning of this video, these are based off of whole signs. So, you know, if you're Taurus rising, you know, 10th house, but if you're Taurus rising, if you're looking at a different chart calculation, it could be different. for that. But also, I want to point out that whatever, some of these cards got flipped, whatever house this new moon is in, or whatever life area this new moon is in, is potentially the same life area that Pluto will be in for the next 20 years. So that's why, I spent a lot of time on this video. I spent a lot of time preparing myself for this video. That's probably really loud in the microphone. I'm so sorry. I spent a lot of time preparing myself for this and whatnot. And so, hopefully you guys can get a lot out of it. You can always refer back to it whenever something comes up to see where Pluto may be affecting you and all that. So let's do this. So Aries, this is your forecast for the Aquarius new moon on February 9th, 2024. This is for Aries. Aries, this is happening in your 11th house of groups, communities, technology and whatnot. You could be moving through, finding some new groups that vibe with you, or that catch your vibe more. You could be learning some new technology. You could be feeling like you want to do some social media stuff. Maybe you're starting a new social media group or something like that. Maybe you're starting a YouTube channel and creating a community that way. And in the sacral chakra oracle for Aries, thought that I had this switched, but I did not. For Aries, we have hold on, sorry. Oh, emotions. Okay. One thing I don't like about this deck is it's harder to read. Emotions. You got to feel your feelings. You got to tune into your emotions. You got to, have them move through your body. Sacral does rule not only creativity, but emotions. And a lot of creativity comes from emotional, emotional stimulation and well-being. And so you got to be around people or technology that does bring out, high frequency emotions to support you and stimulate you. So kind of like that. Kind of like that a lot for Aries. Okay. I'll just say now, thank you for your patience. This deck is a bit harder for me to read, even with a magnifier, because of the way the cards are printed. Okay, anyway, Taurus. Taurus, this new moon in Aquarius, February 9th, 2024, happening in your 10th house of career, public achievement, all the things. You could be stepping into a new, I want to say career path, but really I'm feeling like Taurus is like stepping into like an authentic job or career that really allows them to fully express, that really allows them to be themselves, something that aligns, something that stimulates, something that is, in alignment with you and who you are. And so a public achievement, maybe you are pursuing an award or, some sort of higher accolade. That's a good word. And Taurus, you have spirit team. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta use the guidance of your spirit team to help you out, to, help you, guide you to whatever this career or long-term goal is. And Taurus, you really got to take action towards it do something with it. You know, you've been contemplating, you've been sifting through, you've been gathering information, and now is the time for you to take the advice of all of your spirit guides, your higher self, your ancestors, all of that, to really make a difference in your career path. So that's what I got for Taurus. Gemini, this is happening in this new moon in Aquarius on February 9th is happening in your 9th house of higher education, higher learning, beliefs systems, long distance travel. And I feel like for Gemini, you've got so much to offer as far as philosophical belief systems. You know, you're a constant learner, and it's that time to really step into showcasing what that looks like for you, or what that is for you. Like, what is the thing that you've been loving studying for the longest time that now you're ready to share with the rest of the world? Ooh, Passion Warrior. Damn right. And I love this card, actually. It's one of my favorites in the deck, because it's a warrior yoga pose. Yeah, Gemini, there's something that you're super passionate about that you've been you've been holding back. Again, you've been collecting information, learning, studying, reading, blah, blah, blah. Now it's time to really like show up as that passion warrior of the thing that's really surfacing for you, or that you've been, you know, educating yourself about for such a long time. So can't wait to see what Geminis have to share with us philosophically. That's a fun time. Okay. Cancer. Cancer, this new moon in Aquarius on February 9th is happening in your 8th house of mergings, financial mergings, transformation, kind of time to, you know, step into a new space for you, as far as like, maybe it's time to up your relationship. You've kind of dragging your feet with it, and now it's time to really, you know, take it to the next level. Maybe it's time to merge some finances. You know, you and your significant other have been operating with 2 bank accounts, and maybe it's time to do 1 bank account, or have 1 joint account in addition to your individual accounts. You could also be dealing with something like tax related, you know, like or maybe, like I said, could be as simple as you're getting married. You're taking your relationship to the next level. That sort of thing. So let's see what we got for Cancer. Body comfort. Yeah. You got to do things that make your body feel good. Cancer, you are ruled by the moon. And so the moon is about the body. And so, you got to be with somebody who makes your body feel good. You've got to do financial things that make your body feel good. If it makes you feel anxious, nervous, uneasy, you got to address that. You got to be with that. And, you know, make sure that you are voicing your concerns to your partner. If something in the financial merging is uneasy or uncomfortable, maybe you need to do a bit more investigation to ensure that you've got all of the information that you need before you jump into that contract or that financial situation. All right. Leo. Leo. Leo for the new moon in Aquarius, February 9th, 2024. Leo, this is in your 7th house. Partnerships, relationships, balance, maybe justice. Leo, you are stepping into some new relationships, and I feel like Leos have been kind of focused on career stuff, and you know, Aquarius gives you that sort of doorway to, you know, step into some new relationships, new partnerships, things like that. Maybe you are, seeking out some new, friends or friend groups who are in more alignment with where your life is headed, with your career. Maybe you've made some family changes and whatnot. And you need people who allow you to be your full-on Leo self in the relationship or partnership, such as it is. And for Leo, we have fear of judgment. Ooh, damn. I think this is kind of where some Leos are maybe not as like a flamboyant or outspoken Leo as they could be, and because they're scared of being judged. And so, I mean, I've met some Leos that are, I've met some Leos that are like completely outspoken, completely wild, completely like full on Leo, Leo presence, but I've met other Leos who are much more quiet, and I can't believe they're a Leo, because the dark energy of being a Leo is that you hide, that you keep yourself hidden from the world, that you don't show your true authentic self because you're so afraid of being judged. And so I feel like as you're crossing into this Pluto and Aquarius threshold, that you really may want to check in on, where are you afraid of being judged for saying the shit that you're really feeling or really thinking? Or where are you afraid to show up as, your, um, you know, what's a good word here? You're really afraid to show up as your sort of glamorous self because you're afraid of what other people would say. I really love this for Leo because I've met a lot of Leos that I'm like, you're a Leo? Because they don't, this is the beauty of the dark and the light of astrology, right? Is that, you know, people don't always show up as their sun sign, but truthfully, like, we have to be able to show up as our sun sign. Yes, our rising sign is like who we are and what we are and how we show up in the world, but our sun sign is kind of like what defines that, right? Like, you could look at like, look at me, like, I can be super cold-hearted and emotionally detached, but like, my sun sign, and that's my Scorpio rising, but my sun sign is like Aquarius and really wants humanity and humanity and communities and things like that to actually succeed. Um, and whatnot. So I feel like there's some Leos out there that are afraid to be their true authentic self, and because they're afraid of the judgment that might come along with that if they're really showing who they are, and that could prevent you from having authentic friendships or authentic partnerships, and or having authentic balance in your life. So that's what I got for Leo. Virgo. Virgo, this is your forecast for the new moon in Aquarius on February 9th, 2024. Virgo, this is happening in your sixth house, Virgo house. All about potentially analytics and detail oriented, but I really think this is about health, your health. You've got a lot of opposing energy in Pisces right now with Saturn and Neptune there. So you've got this like encouragement to be really in tune with your physical body, whether that's your digestive system, your endocrine system, your musculoskeletal system. But Virgo does rule the digestive system, so that's why I tend to focus on that. But this could be any, health issue that needs to be addressed, or shifting in from it being a quote unquote health issue to maybe being a spiritual issue, because Pisces is spirituality and duality. And so Aquarius may be offering you this opportunity to really see what could be good for you as far as your health is concerned or your spiritual well-being is concerned. Maybe it's shifting your nutrition or shifting your workouts, or creating a new nutrition plan, or just overall improving your nutrition. and whatnot. So Virgos, yeah, could be a 20-year journey of dealing with your nutrition or dealing with your health as a whole for Virgos. Sexuality. Ooh, that's an interesting card to get with what I just talked about. Um, hmm. Maybe this is accepting, yeah, accepting some part of your sexuality. Maybe that you are a sexual being and that your denial of you being a sexual being is actually what's creating like indigestion or that complicated relationship between your gut brain, right? Because our solar plexus is our gut, and what we consume affects our gut, and what we consume also affects our brain. But because maybe you're like too nervous to say what your true sexual feelings are, whatever they are, whether that, I mean, think about that. And this could be just like self pleasure. This could be you want to be in like an open relationship so that you can have multiple partners. Maybe you want to experiment with bisexuality, things like that. I mean, there's so many layers to sexuality at this point in life, but my point is that I feel like some Virgos, and I know they're going through some relationship stuff because Pisces 7th house for them. So I feel like, maybe your partner is not serving you. maybe maybe you need to bring something in to spice up the sex in the relationship. But also I feel like because things are affecting your health and whatnot, maybe there's some things that you and your partner or partners or yourself needs to do to adjust your sexual relationship because of something that's going on with your health, or vice versa, right? Like, good sex, good health, right? They do kind of run run in tandem. Um, anyway, so that's what I'm feeling for Virgo. It's kind of a deep one on Virgo. All right, Libra. Libra, this is your forecast for the new moon in Aquarius on February 9th, 2024. This is happening in your 5th house of creativity, childlike playfulness, heart-centeredness, but also could be inner child wounds, and childhood wounding. And we do have like a strong presence of Chiron with the North Node, which is opposing where the South Node is in your sign, Libra, and the South Node could be, passing through some of your Libra placements right now. And so I feel like some, childhood wounds could be surfacing for you, that could be contributing to this, not only the new moon being in your 5th house, but potentially with Pluto being in your 5th house as well. And so, there may be some opportunity or invitation for you to experiment with some creativity, to, kind of unleash your inner child and be playful and be fun and be silly and go play in the dirt and all of the things. I don't know why I have play in the dirt and build a sandcastle in my head, but that's what's coming through. But also this could be about just artistic, playfulness. This could be following your heart, being creative, throwing paint on the walls, that kind of thing. Um, just to kind of like unleash your inner child in order to support your inner child in healing its wounds within you. And Libra, y'all got the law of attraction. Mm. I feel like for Libra, this law of attraction is all about, your mindset and what you think about, you bring about. And yet you kind of harbor these wounds, that's kind of what you lead with, is your wounded self. And you probably do it so subconsciously or unconsciously that it doesn't even occur to you that your wounded inner child, or your lack of desire to be creative, be playful, have fun, be silly, and all of that is potentially what's preventing you from bringing in the people, the things, the partnerships, the job that you actually desire. So I feel like there's a lot here about your desires and what you really want in order to feel fulfilled. Yeah, this is a pretty potent, you're maybe sitting there. It's kind of one of those, like, why does this always happen to me type of scenarios. Why does this always happen to me? Well, it's because you're leading from a space of woundedness, or you're leading from a space of demand, as opposed to a space of, healing, or a space of desire. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm feeling for this Libra and the Libra being Aquarius new moon being in your fifth house for Libra. Is it's kind of like I said, it's one of those, like, why is this always happening to me? Why do I always bring in such bullshit people or bullshit circumstances? And it's because this is, you're coming from a space of woundedness. And so, Libras are going through a lot right now. South node in your first house, South node in your sun sign is no picnic. So I totally get that. And you've got Chiron in your opposition as well. So a lot of, woundedness is coming up for you. It's coming up for everybody, but, South node in your first house is tricky. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling for Libra. Okay. Scorpio. This is your forecast for the new moon in Aquarius, February 9th, 2024. This is for Scorpio. This is happening in your fourth house, which is family, maternal things, emotional well-being, home life, foundation. Scorpio, you just had that South node in your first house. So you've kind of been through some transformation and maybe like reestablishing, and whatnot. And so, you definitely could be going through some like moves, like home life readjustment, some stuff coming up and out about your family. Maybe you're going through some family like changes, the like structure of your family is changing. The like, I don't know. There's just a lot going on with family, but also it's like your emotional well-being and or stability around the changes happening in your home life, your family life, and whatnot. Maybe something to do with your mom or maternal things, or you being a mom and how you're a mom, and whatnot could be coming through as well. So for Scorpios, we have oh, I remember this card from before actually, and it's not one of my favorites because I can never read it. And I thought about writing what the word is on it, and I never did. So hold on for a sec. Um, let me see if I can. Okay. I cannot read that card. I'm going to leave it out of the deck and I'm going to write on that card what the word is on that card. And for Scorpios, I'm going to draw another card. And this one is mirror. Mirror with fourth house. I feel like Scorpios, you're seeing some part of your life being reflected back at you. I mean, that's how it works, right? Like everything of us is a projection of our life being reflected back to us, or how we feel is being reflected back to us. And so I feel like with this being around like your foundation, it's really seeing yourself in the mirror and your own like stability and stabilization and your ability to stabilize yourself and how that's reflected back to you as a way of, you know, trans uh shifting or transforming to higher frequency emotion, right? The more you see yourself in the mirror, the more you see your life reflecting as a reflection, you understand that how you show up to your life has a immediate effect on how your life gets reflected, right? So, and Scorpios, tend to have those deep emotions. How they feel about things is very deep. And therefore, whatever emotion, they also hyperfixate. And so whatever emotion a Scorpio is experiencing is very much reflected back at them. And so it's kind of one of those like, if you're pissed off and angry about shit, then shit's going to come back at you in a pissed off way. People are going to show up in your life as being more pissed off and frustrated. Whereas if you heighten your emotions, you're going to just attract that, bring that, you're going to reflect that back at yourself. So I think this is really about like having that emotional self-check, having that emotional stability, having that emotional well-being. So that's what I'm feeling for Scorpio. I'm kind of mad I chose this deck now because I forgot how hard it is to read. But I also felt like it was very important to use this deck because I sat on it for a long time. And then I was like, nope, it's got to be the sacral chakra. And the thing is like Aquarius is very intellectual and very deep. Like it really wants you to feel as emotionally detached as it is, it also, it's also this place where we are is like, tapping into our creativity and our sexuality and authenticity and all of that. It's part of, it's part of it, part of our uniqueness. Okay, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this new moon is happening in your third house of communication, particularly written communication, mindset, how you communicate, how your mind sends you messages. Your mindset is all about like shifting the way you think so that you can shift the way you act, right? So you know Sages are lighting some shit up right now. They're stepping into a whole new power place. And maybe it's like Sagittarius is going to write a book. Maybe Sagittarius is just going to start communicating more clearly, more effectively. It also could just be that Sagittariuses are going to understand and accept that they are a powerful being and really use that to step into their uniqueness. So for Sages, we have self-love. How perfect. How perfect. How perfect. And how perfect that this was actually supposed to be, no, this was supposed to be a Capricorn card. Because I skipped a card. Anyway, so self-love. I think Sages are learning that they are unique, they're powerful, they are like I said, they're stepping into a whole new way of being and loving themselves as opposed to giving that love away to other people. Or maybe it's even eliminating that self-deprecating conversation that they're having. and turning that into a self-love conversation. And so lots of things could be coming up around communication with Sagittarius. So Capricorn, new moon in Aquarius on February 9th is happening in your second house of self-worth, value, finances. Sad Capricorns, this is going to be a tricky time for Capricorns because they just had Pluto in their first house. Now they're going to have Pluto in their second house. And, so you've got like 20 years of dealing with your self-worth because, Pluto going there in your first house wasn't enough to teach you about your self-worth and your value and what you value, what you find worthy about yourself, and what you find to be financially grounding about yourself. And so now you've got this, I really feel like Capricorns, if they came out of Pluto and Capricorn steady and ready to tackle the world, that they're going to be great, excel through Pluto and Aquarius. I mean, there's going to be hiccups in the road. That's just inevitable, right? But if you came out unsteady, and not well grounded from Pluto and Capricorn, then heading into Pluto and Aquarius could be troubling. But I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it could be. So I definitely feel like Capricorns is one of those, feel free to get support where you need it. But this could be a flourishing time for some Capricorns too. They could really step into, financial abundance and all that. And so for Capricorns, we have, where the heck is the word on this card? Triggers. Yeah, because part of self-worth and part of learning our self-worth is being able to respond to triggers as they surface for us. And so I definitely feel this card for Capricorns, knowing what triggers you, how you're going to respond to it, how it's going to affect, if you get triggered at the beginning of the day, is it going to fuck up your whole day? Or are you going to be able to process and respond to said trigger so that you can move into the rest of your day with grace and with maybe even some ease and whatnot. So that's what I'm feeling for Capricorn. All right, Aquarius. Okay, I'm gonna try not to be okay, but I am because I love me some Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. For the new moon in Aquarius, February 9th, this is happening in your first house. You've got Pluto there now. You are going to be, this is going to be some concentrated Aquarius energy. So Aquarius, time to wake up, step up, show up, woman up, man up, all of the things. Let's show the world what Aquarians are really about, whether that is supporting your community, some sort of visionary technology innovation, whatever that looks like. Maybe you are, dabbling into some augmented reality type stuff. Who knows, Aquarians, but this is your moment to really step up and shine and be you as you as you can be. So I love Aquarius. I love being an Aquarius. So Aquarius, we have desires. Aquarius, this is your time to shine. You literally have the next 20 years to fulfill your heart's desires, whatever that looks like for you, right? Whether that is, you just air your crazy, nerdy, geeky self, whether that is you have something intellectual to share with the world, whether, whatever this is for Aquarius. Ever notice how a lot of Aquarians end up in technology? Yeah, that's, I have a friend who shares my birthday who's an engineer, software engineer. And so, but also this could be desires, like you desire to be a part of a community, you desire to build a community. For a very long time, I wanted to live in like a commune or a community of, supportive people, and whatnot. And yes, I did look at like tiny house, rental space, and like I thought about like getting a tiny house and living in a tiny house community or group. Still may happen. But also it's like, Aquarius, it's like building that or inventing that or, whatever. Like if it's not available to you where you are, maybe it's something that you're going to bring to the table. But yeah, Aquarius, it's time to step into what you desire because the world's in a place where they can handle it now. I mean, people can do whatever the hell it is they're doing, you can too. And you're not nerdy for thinking it, you're actually heartfelt for doing it, for bringing in whatever it is you're bringing in. So that's what I have for Aquarius. So Pisces, last but not least, Pisces, this new moon on February 9th in Aquarius is happening in your 12th house, which is duality, spirituality, karmic endings, and whatnot. And, Pisces, you got Saturn and Neptune in your first house. And so this being in your 12th house, it's almost like Pisces is going to end or break up with an old like version of themselves, and like they're going to come out different on the other end. And I realize this happens like all the time, but I almost mean this in like a catastrophic, like like grandiose scale for a Pisces. Pluto in the 12th, new moon in the 12th, all the planets are going to be in your 12th. Um, there is certainly something that has to end, and this could be even like a way of dealing with your spirituality, a way of dealing with your career. But I think it's going to be more spirituality because it's 12th house and you've got Saturn and stuff, but you've also got like this restriction. So I feel like Pisces could want to be more introspective and really deal with a lot of their own stuff, their own maybe even delusions. But when you move through this depth of energy, this like thickness of energy, remember that you can come out better on the other side, or come out with oh yeah, past lovers. Yeah, not surprised. This doesn't have to be past like past romantic lovers. This could be a past love, like you're letting go of something that it's kind of like letting go of something that you love because you want something more, like whether that's like a career or passion project or whatever, like that could be a past love, right? This doesn't have to be about romantic partners, but you're letting go of something that you love to bring in something that you are just elated about, like lit the fuck up about, something, so you're letting go of one part of you to bring in or usher in something new that's even grander and greater than that thing that you love so much. So that's what I got for Pisces. That was actually really hard, maybe even harder than I expected it to be. And so I appreciate you if you stuck around for this one. Aquarius to me, while it's emotionally detached, it also is because Aquarius like feels things very deeply. And I'm one of those people. I feel things very deeply. I have a lot of love for wanting to see humanity at its highest, greatest, best, sustainable self, like, or sustainable, collective. Like I really am that type of person. And so, when I say things that are piercing or sharp or shocking, it's really because I'm like, okay, but this could be so much fucking better if somebody would just say the goddamn thing that needs to be said. Um, I also think like, like I said before, when 2020 happened, I really thought people would want to take that opportunity to change their life, because people just complain about their life all the time. And I'm like, why do you want to be a complainer? Why do you want to live a life that you constantly hate? And so, but I'm also someone who's constantly disrupting their life just to find something better. Like, okay, I love that thing, but this thing could be even better. I love that, but this could be even better. And I try on a bunch of different things. I try on different hats and different outfits, and I try on different ways of creating content and whatnot. Just like doing this today, like this was harder and harder than I thought it would be, but I'm kind of glad I did it, because I feel like, you know, one of the things we can all learn from Aquarius is, while, like I said, while Aquarius is detached emotionally, it's because when it's time to let something go and move on to something better or something different, or whatever, then Aquarius is like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm gonna move on to this thing, because this thing sounds like it could be interesting. And do they fuck around and find out a lot? Yeah, we do. Do we try things that don't work? Yep, all the time. And it's how you learn, it's how you grow, it's how you evolve, and all of that. So pardon me if this was extra long. Hopefully you were able to scroll through the chapters to get what you needed, and whatnot. I felt like this was a really important video to do. I'm glad that I took my time to bring it to you and all of that. And I will see you on the Moon Astrology Tarot videos. And of course, thank you so much for tuning in. You can follow me on Instagram at Sarah Waggle, if you would like to do that. And of course, you can get into the Awakening Spirit Collective if you would like to dive deeper into astrology. I am doing like a video series there on some just basic lessons in astrology and like how astrology works and all of that. So if that's something that you're interested in, then head on over to it is an affiliate link. I do get a compensation for that link, but you do get access to lots of other practitioners, not just me, that can support you through whatever you are moving through in this time and space. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love and appreciate you, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.